All right, I see we have folks joining in. We will go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Maddie's Fun's Community Conversations. I'm one of your hosts, Sheila Kukan, and I'm so excited to be back with my co-host for the month of August, Elsa Ramos. Elsa is the bilingual adoption coordinator for Oakland Animal Services and has a background in individual and family services that she's now bringing forward and with this expertise in animal welfare space to truly amplify human and animal well-being. Elsa, I'm so excited to have you as my co-host. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun being here all of August. And I'm excited about the panel today. It's about matchmaking and adoptions, which is something I'm really passionate and interested about. And today is going to have a fun twist that relates to our question of the day. So for everyone, please type in the chat, what's your favorite reality show right now?
Oh,
Is
right.
I've never heard. Some people don't watch any. That's fine. Yeah, there's definitely Love Island reunion tonight. Great British Baking Show. Pop the Balloon. A lot of people don't watch, but I see a lot of Love Island in here. Alone.
And
That's
maybe you don't
fun.
watch reality TV, maybe just a TV show. I maybe watch too much reality TV, admittedly. Well, thank you all as those are rolling in. Keep them coming. I will say Love Island is a guilty pleasure of mine. So today's conversation is super exciting as I'm so excited to see how our panelists put this all together for us. But now is also a great time to go ahead and please put national updates in the chat. So you can drop them in now or please share them on Maddie's Pet Forum as well. And I think we can go ahead and get started. I'll hand it to you, Elsa.
All right, thank you everyone for joining. We're so excited today to hear about Coupled Up, matching pets and people through barrier-free adoptions with our incredible panelists. I'll go ahead and introduce our three speakers for today. First, we have Vanessa Tucker. Vanessa is the Customer Service Manager and Cat Rescue Lead at APS of Durham, where she spent 8 years matching pets with families and supporting community rescue efforts. She's active in APS's foster program and often caring for bottle baby kittens and helped launch their community pet pantry. At home, she's happily outnumbered by 2 dogs and a cat. Welcome, Vanessa. Next, we have Izzy Nidetz. Izzy is the Director of Placement at Pasadena Humane with over a decade in animal welfare. She earned her BS in Animal Science from Cal Poly and joined Pasadena Humane in 2017 as the foster coordinator, where she developed robust kitten and dog foster programs. And now she oversees adoptions, foster, and transport programs. And Izzy lives in Los Angeles with her partner and 2 foster fail cats, Mr. Macaroni and Teddy. Welcome, Izzy.
Thank you for having me.
And last but not least, we have Christine Losorelli. Christine began in veterinary medicine as a client service representative, gaining experience in animal behavior and medical care. She joined Pasadena Humane as an adoption counselor in May 2024 and was recently promoted to adoption specialist. Animal welfare is her passion, and she's grateful to do the work she deeply cares about every day. Thank you all for joining,
Thank
and we're
you.
so happy to have you.
Thank
Happy to be here.
you. Such a warm welcome. I appreciate it. All right. Well, I'm happy to get into it if we're ready. Okay. So again, my name is Izzy. I'm the Director of Placement at Pasadena Humane. I'm joined by Vanessa and Christine, and we're so excited to be here today to discuss some creative initiatives to promote animals for adoption, and also how barrier-free adoption helps us place animals into our communities. So first, I just want to kind of jump in and get to know Vanessa and Christine a little bit more. So I'd love to hear more about, what brought you to this field and into this work specifically. And can you touch on how your background or any experiences that you've had in your life help influence your approach when it comes to animal welfare? Um, we can start with Vanessa.
Hi. So I have always loved animals. I was the kid who was always like, I'm going to be a vet when I grow up. I discovered that that was not my lane, but I was very excited in 2018 when a position opened up at APS of Durham. I came on as an adoption counselor.
Mhm.
And I just fell in love with animal welfare and just basically being the home for the homeless animals in our community. We are the only shelter in Durham. So we
Wow.
are we have a contract with the county to run the county facilities. So every stray, every surrender comes through our doors. So it is always very interesting to hear the stories behind them. And then when you're able to find the homes and kind of pass along that information, people love to be able to hear that. So bonding with the
Mm.
community in that way has been an unexpected surprise for me that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. I'm definitely there with you where I wanted to be a vet when I grew up and just didn't know what ways you could work with animals. And so it kind
Exactly.
of worked out similarly for me to get into animal welfare. So that's amazing. I love that. Christine, what about you?
Hi. So I didn't want to be a vet, but I actually, when I was younger, wanted to go into environmental law and animal rights law.
Mhm.
And when I was younger, I got diagnosed with clinical depression. And I realized animals are my safe place and my happy place. And so I didn't know what I wanted to do with them. But I actually ended up getting a job at a veterinarian's office. And during that time, I had set my like Indeed job notifications to let me know anytime anything at Pasadena Humane opened up. And I
Mhm.
applied, followed up, and I got lucky that Izzy liked me enough to be on the team. And I think a lot of it was my mental health and knowing like I wanted something that would give me a purpose and something like bigger than me where I felt like, you know, something that made a difference. And that's what got me here. And I'm very happy to be here and wake up every day and get to do something that matters so much.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's really, really wonderful. It sounds like you both kind of get that purpose from working with the community. Do you feel like that resonates with you?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, connecting with the people is
Yeah.
important. Oh, I love that. Well, can you talk to me about like your experience at your shelter and, any shifts or changes that you've experienced in your time there to get to where you are today? And, what changes have had an impact on the community directly or, your animals directly?
Definitely. When I first started, we had a deposit system for adoption. So it was a very long process. It would take a week to 2 weeks to get animals out because we would have to do vet checks, we would have to do landlord checks, and just getting people on the phone would take absolutely forever. And then there will be some times where you do all of this, you do all of your screening, and then you finally give them a call and say, hey, you're able to come get this dog, and then you don't hear from them. So we as a organization decided that there was a better option for our animals. And so we looked at same day adoptions. So we do a conversational based approach now, whereas previously a lot of our application it felt like it was kind of filter out for the perfect person. Our mindset now is, how do we make you a great person for this pet? Do you need any resources? Do you need any support? So our new application actually has a whole section that just says, what do you want to know more about? Can we talk to you about house training? Can we talk to you about keeping your cat indoors and things like that? So it has definitely opened up the relationship between our staff and the
Yeah.
adopt. One thing that I just personally noticed when I started working here is our area has a lot of transplants from northern states.
Mm.
So a lot of people were failing our screening process because they had never provided heartworm prevention for the dogs, but they didn't know about it.
Oh, right. They
Mosquitoes aren't
wouldn't
as big
know.
of a thing in New
Right.
York as they are in North
Mm-hmm.
Carolina. So
Mm-hmm.
they had never gotten the prevention from their vet because they didn't know that they should once they moved down here.
Mm.
So that's one thing that was like a light bulb moment for
Yeah.
us, where we
Oh,
were like,
huge.
so instead of having this be a barrier, let's educate our community and make sure that they know what they need to make great homes for our animals. So I
Yeah.
love that we've changed that approach. Um, we have definitely seen an increase in our adoptions and a decrease in our length of stay for our adoptable animals with this. And getting them out of the shelter faster is always better for them. So I
Absolutely.
love that we have switched it, mostly because
Yeah.
I'm still doing adoption. So having the stress of going through all of those calls is so much better on our staff.
No, I totally get that. And I would have not thought about, yeah, the heartworm prevention and how that's such an
Mhm.
easy thing to educate on that, these people are probably fantastic adopters. And if they were, being tossed out because they didn't know about that, then
Mhm.
you're missing out on all these people. Did
Mhm.
you find, like, was there any difficulty with making those changes or like, how did you go about that?
So there was some initial pushback from
Mm-hmm.
our board,
Mm-hmm.
but we came with anecdotal evidence,
Mm.
fact-based evidence. Our life-saving director actually was phenomenal in this process. She created fact sheets for how to even do conversational-based adoptions. We all came in for additional training on it. So at the end of the day, everyone's really comfortable with moving because we felt like we came from a place of knowledge with it and that we had support and people who had specifically studied this and made sure that we were doing it in good faith.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Christine, do you want to touch on Pasadena Humane? I know you've been here
Yeah.
for a little over a year, so you don't have like the full history of our
Yeah.
organization, but walk me through some of your thoughts there.
Most of the change that I've seen, like as you said, I've only been here for a year. It's been a fantastic year, but I've only been here for a year. So overarching changes, I haven't really been here to see. The most impactful thing that I've seen that has changed how we did things like before versus after is the impact that we've had from the Eaton fires. So our shelter was to the Eaton fires. Pasadena is our service city. So all of the incoming animals, which I think was over 1,500, wildlife, strays, boarding cases, that all very much shifted like how like emotionally and everything our organization deals with things. I will say too, the impact that it had, I still, it's been months since the fire, and every single day when I'm working with clients, I have people tell me that they heard about us from our response to the fires and that they wanted to come here and help us because of what we did in the fires.
Mm,
Whether or not people actually like end up adopting, a lot of the times they come see our organization and want to volunteer and want to be a part of it. So for me personally, that's the shift that I've seen. I can also speak from like a personal perspective as like a client. When I came here to adopt before, like maybe 10 years ago, I know that there were different limitations on what we would send home, and we would have a little more like stringent requirements. And now with open adoptions, we're a lot more open. And I think in the same vein as Vanessa and your organization, and trying our best to set people up for success. So we can get the animals out and help the people to make it a successful match. That's
yeah.
definitely like from a client perspective and from being here for the short time I have been.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. And that's definitely good perspective too, especially since you've been here for a year and you're able to see kind of how that's affected our shelter. For some extra background, since I've been here since 2017, when I started, we were operating very differently. We had an application that just had yes or no questions on it. We asked how tall your fence was. We asked for your landlord's information. We asked a lot of what we would call like closed questions. And it felt really pass fail. Like I think it made people feel like they had to fill in appropriate answers, or maybe they wouldn't be as truthful with their situation because they felt like they would be written off, that they wouldn't be able to adopt. And so now in the last I want to say 4 or 5 years, we shifted over to what we call an adoption questionnaire. So it's not an application, it's a questionnaire. It's supposed to be like low pressure, but we want to still capture someone's information or what they might have questions about. And so it doesn't ask those kind of yes or no questions. It's kind of more open-ended so that we can try and capture, that person's lifestyle. And then, of course, by being conversational based in our open adoptions approach, we can really connect with that person and get to hear more about their background and use it as educational opportunities. So I like what Vanessa was saying. There are sometimes people that come to you that want outdoor cats, and you can have that conversation with them to educate them about like the importance or like the benefits of having an indoor cat, um, and how that keeps them
What?
healthy. So
Yeah,
that keeps us like
it makes me.
really engaged with that person. And it creates a better relationship with that person. So I found that that's been really helpful for us to switch over to this open adoptions philosophy and kind of change our framework there so that, we're a little bit more connected with the people that are coming to us. Because really, like, we're supposed to be supporting them and matching them with an appropriate pet. So I think we've been really, really excellent at that. And I agree, like with the fires, it really put us on the map, like with social media and connecting with people all over the country. Like we have people that comment on our Instagram post saying, like, oh, I'm in New York, but otherwise I would totally adopt this dog.
Yeah.
And that
Mhm.
attention just helps us a lot too. Like, there are people thinking about us in those ways, and that's just been so impactful for us. So we really appreciate that. Obviously, you two are very engaged in your work and at your facilities in particular. Can you touch on something that you're really proud of with your organization that you'd love to share with everyone here?
Hmm. One thing for me would be our COVID response.
Mm,
Um, that was kind of that was a big change for everyone, right?
hmm
This was right after we moved to same day adoptions in 2019, and then 2020 COVID hits.
Oh no.
So I like to joke and tell people that was my used car salesperson era, where we're still trying to make these adoptions happen. And it will very often be me going in the morning and doing videos of all of our cats and kittens, and look at how pretty, look at how sweet. Um, and kind of doing these virtual visits with people.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, you had to
Mhm.
really adapt there, huh?
Incredibly
Exactly.
resourceful.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was a little bit crazy, but one thing that we did implement during that time was a pet pantry for our community.
Amazing.
We're seeing a lot of people that just needed resources in order to keep their animals. And
Mm,
so we decided that we were going to take in donations and put money towards it. And all you had to do was be a resident of our community, and we will be able to set you up with food. When we first started, we were doing maybe between 800 pounds to 1,000 pounds a month in food. It has definitely gone down as the need
yeah.
has gone down, but we are still running it. And we actually have partnered with our local Salvation Army because we were not
Oh,
able to house all
amazing.
the food here any
Yeah.
longer.
Incredible.
So every Friday, our community can just go, and if they need food for themselves or for their pets, they have that resource, which is
hmm
excellent. Um,
That's incredible. Wow.
hmm We also have increased our partnerships with local area rescues
Mm,
and support systems. We have a phenomenal organization called Beyond Fences here in Durham. And if there's something that we can't provide, then they're usually able to step in and help us. So, like any vet care that we wouldn't be able to do while it is a community animal, they're able to step in if they need a fence built. So, making sure that we
wow.
educate our community about the options that we have has
hmm
been really important. We did also during that time move to managed intake
mm
because our doors were locked.
mm
We weren't open to the community anymore, but we have kept
Right.
that going, and
Mm,
that's been excellent. So if someone calls and is looking to surrender an animal to us, then we can see what the real reason is for them, what their real
mm,
need is. And if we don't have it here, we try to connect them with other resources that can get them what they need to keep their animal. And then we also
hmm
give them online rehoming options,
mm
and worst come to worst, we'll take in the animal for them. So
Yeah.
that has been a really great partnership.
Yeah,
And when
definitely.
I started, you were just able to come in anytime during our open hours and bring in an animal. So it's really nice to know what you kind of an idea of what you have coming in.
Right.
If I know I have some puppies coming in, we can reach out to another rescue in the area and be like, hey, do you have foster homes for these? They're coming on
Mm,
Tuesday at 3. So that's
hmm
been really great for us, just managing our own population
For
and
sure.
hmm
keeping the community in mind.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It really helps you prepare and you can really see what can be offered to someone before it comes to the point where they need to turn into the shelter.
Right.
We operate very similarly where, we have conversations with, do you need help getting a letter for an ESA,
Mhm.
you know, to keep your pet in the home. So there's a lot of things that we look at. And I think that's the most impactful way to help people because they don't want to get rid of their pets, usually
Right.
is the case. And so if there's something that we can help provide to them that will help them keep that, like ultimately we don't want animals to come into the shelter. And if
Right.
there's
If I can
anything
give you a
that we can
crate and you'll
help.
keep it, yeah,
Yeah,
have the crate.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Take it. We
Yeah.
don't want the crate. We want you to keep your dog.
Yeah, please.
Right, right. And we do also
Yeah.
have a behavior helpline with
Oh,
our animal
amazing.
behavior staff. So if you're trying to give me your puppy because they're not house trained, please go talk to them. We can figure it out.
That's the easy fix. I love that.
Hmm.
Oh, that's a great resource. Christine, what about Pasadena Humane? What are some things that you've been really proud of that we've put on here?
Yeah. In the time that I've been here, I've really liked getting to see how inclusive we try to be with our community. We live in a very diverse area. So we have people from everywhere coming in to adopt from us and looking for guidance. Because of that, we were able to translate a lot of our adoption documents, whether it's like the contracts or handouts, things like that. So we, off the top of my head, I think our contract is in Russian, Mandarin, Spanish, Armenian,
Hmm.
and English. I think there
Yep.
may be others. And then we also have a translation service that we can use to make sure that all of our clients are actually getting thorough consults and that they're able to understand the information we're relaying to them. Most of our job in adoptions, especially, is educating the people who come in. And when there's a language barrier, it's difficult to make sure that they feel comfortable and they understand. So that's something that I'm really proud of that
Mm.
our team took the initiative to do, because we want people to feel confident in the choices they're making. And it's hard to do that when you can't understand what's going on fully. So I'm really glad we did that. Also, like
Amazing.
Izzy mentioned, our questionnaires are really just us trying to get the information we can to match them rather than something that they could fail. It's open-ended, so we want them to know, like, we are just here to help you find a good match, and it's a little more welcoming to people. um, Another thing we do is foster to adopt, which I think has really helped, especially with some of our long stay large dogs, which is typically what we try to offer it for. Our foster team is fantastic and will work with our adoptions coordinator typically to decide which animals would be qualified for foster to adopt. And it's something we can offer to our community members who come to adopt, where it's a little less intimidating for them and it helps us give a dog that has been here a while a better chance. With that too, they have all the support from our foster team, and so they don't feel like they're as alone. And it really is an adoption trial, so they can see how that animal fits into their life and if it's something they want to do. And honestly, it's usually very successful. And when it's not, it's okay too, because we get notes on our animals and that helps us in the long run. Um, Another thing we really do that I love, I think 3 or 4 times a year, we have massive events where they're free adoptions. We heavily try to publicize them and it gets the community excited. A lot of people aren't even there because it's waived. They're there because they're excited to be there for the day and they want to contribute to the fun number that we have at the end of it. And typically we see very minimal returns from that as well. Like, of course, sometimes it does not work, but for the most part, the majority of those animals stay out. And that's what we like to see. And we check in on them, usually 3 months, but sometimes sooner, if we are wanting to just see how they're doing. And it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
We also do monthly promotions typically where it's a week or a weekend where we're like waiving the fee for something. And I think it gets people excited. People love a promotion. So I love
Yeah,
that.
they do. That's a lot of fun things. Thank you for bragging about our organization. We do a lot of amazing things here that I think really help us help the people and help the animals that we have here. To touch on the adoption promotions a little bit more, we meet the adoptions leadership, so myself, our adoptions manager, and our adoptions coordinator. We meet with the marketing team usually about 2 or 3 times a year, depending on disasters or things that interrupt our important meetings. But we will kind of talk about the year and what promotional things that we want to do for each month. So generally each month we have some sort of cute cute named promotion that highlights either like a specific species of animal, so that we can, continue to get interest from the community. And the amazing thing about this is that like the promotions do really well. We're able to connect with people, whether it's about like a holiday or like a movie release or something special that comes out. Or if a specific sponsor wants to reach out, we're able to kind of connect in that way and offer people these fee-waived adoptions. And then when we do have these all planned out, and we need sponsors or would love to have sponsors help with the adoption fees or to cover the adoption fees, we're able to use that time to try and get some people, some donors who want to help with that. So there are some cat lovers that would really love to support senior cat promotion. And so we're like, great, like we'll do that in November. So there's ways that we can connect with our donors and set them up to, really be a part of some of these special promotional periods. So that's been really amazing to kind of set up each year. And we started really doing that in the last 3 years, where we have these really intentional meetings to set up each month with something to promote. So that's been really helpful for us. For the two of you, so we've been talking about open adoptions and lowering barriers, and we kind of touched on like the difficulties that come with that. But what advice would you give to someone or to an organization that might be hesitant to low barriers? And then is there any advice or a recommendation that you might have for them?
So if you are going to give it a try, which I highly recommend that you do, definitely just make sure that you are also supporting your community with
Mm,
it. So like I
mm,
was saying, we have that behavioral helpline. So after adoption, you still have that resource. While we're going over the adoptions, we'll give you all the information that we have on the animal. We'll open up the door to questions for them so that they're able to make an informed decision. And honestly, if the animal does come back, like you said, we do get more information about them. And so that can
mhm.
help with the next placement.
Yeah.
So definitely, I've got to say, in my experience with it, it's been nothing but positive, and definitely has helped our animals in the long run. Because, like I was saying before, I could have an adoptable animal on the adoption floor for a week or 2 weeks that is just on hold. And rather than having it there, it could be in someone's home connecting with that family.
Mm, yeah, that's amazing. Okay, Christine, what you got?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to remember it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Mm,
Like baby steps. It can be intimidating and scary to go from one way to a completely other side. Even something as small as changing your application, like as you mentioned, to a questionnaire where it doesn't feel as much like a test that you could fail or get, rejected from, can really help your community feel more welcome in the space that you're in. Um, I also think, like Vanessa mentioned, it's really important to make sure you're intentionally setting up adopters for success. A lot of the time, something that can deter people is medical. We give them, at Pasadena Humane, we're lucky we're partnered with VCA and we give them like a free health check, and we're partnered with MetLife Pet Insurance and we give them a month of free pet insurance, a discount on our training classes. And truly, I can't emphasize enough what Vanessa said, like setting your community up for a success when you have open adoptions is one of the biggest things. Educate as much as you can while they're here and let them know we're still there to support them once they walk out the door with their animal.
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I think all of this goes into just supporting the people and the animals. So like it's part of this philosophy of being open to the people, but also open to the animals and really providing that support for everyone. Vanessa, I love all the resources that you have to support your adopters and the animals there. And Christine, yeah, we have a lot here that we are very lucky to be able to support that. But it definitely took time to get to where we are today. Like what Christine was saying, that you can take baby steps to get to this lower barrier adoptions processes. It is change, and change is really hard to manage, and it can be difficult to process, for staff or volunteers to understand like why that's so helpful. But really over time um, we have the data, we have the information that says, this is um, it decreases our length of stay for our animals. Animals get to go into homes faster. People who are here and ready to adopt, they get to go home with an animal. And, when you're in such a competitive space, like animal welfare, animal shelters, rescues, can be really competitive. And so, you want to capture that adopter's interest and get them that animal if they're interested in animal. So, for us, if someone's interested in a large dog, which is, our hardest to place animal, we're like, get in, come here.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you right now.
Yeah.
So it's really, thinking about the animals in ways that we can help them get out of the shelter, so that they can, be off and on their journey into a new home environment. So I have really found that open adoptions has been a great way to help us with length of stay. And even throughout all this, I think we still have really low return rates. If anything, we do learn a lot. Like Christine was saying, we learn a lot about that adopter and what might be a better fit for them. And then we can learn more about that animal and what's a better fit for them. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
It is.
Yeah.
If I can add one
Yeah,
thing,
please.
something that Izzy, as my director, always tells us, like, if we try new things and we fail, it's still okay. Like, if you try and learn something from it and decide maybe that wasn't the best plan, but we can take things from that and work it into our next plan, you're still making a difference and you still may get a few more animals out into good homes. So it definitely doesn't have to be all or nothing. And even if it doesn't go perfectly right away, you're still making a difference, and inching your way towards
Yeah.
even more animals out. So baby steps, truly.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that, Christine. Yeah, it's all kind of a learning experience if you haven't tried new things. Like you just kind of have to dip your toe in and see how that goes. And I'm very much of the philosophy of, we learn by trying and doing, and failure doesn't mean that we're totally failed at this. It just means, okay, we're going to learn from that experience and see how we can do that better. So, there's definitely been events that we've done or promotions that were like, oh, that wasn't as like exciting as it could have been, like, and we debrief about that to say, oh, like, could we have done more with marketing and posting more on social media? Oh, we did this event on Mother's Day. Oh, like we shouldn't have done that because everyone's celebrating their mom. So there's little things that we learn from, doing those things, and then we do better or try again. Or sometimes there's really an idea where you're like, that didn't work at all. We're not gonna do that. But it's not something to beat yourself up about, and it's always something to be open about, to try new things. And something this, kind of dives me into my next question. Like as a leader, I have to kind of like take in new ideas. Like we have to be creative. We have to see what we can do with our resources. And something that was really exciting for us was this Love Island adoption promotion that we did, which I'll have Christine talk about a little bit more. But there's definitely things that you can do as a leader to encourage your teams to come up with creative ideas, or if they bring something to you, it is definitely something to explore, and it gives people on your team that buy-in to try new things and use that creative side of their brain, where we can do a really fun thing. So this year we did a really fun promotion with Love Island themed things, and I will have Christine talk a little bit more about that.
And I'm always happy to talk about Love Island and our cats. So this idea came truly from myself and all my coworkers being obsessed with this show. I think pop culture is something that is there, whether or not you take advantage of it, it is there. So we actually had a large group of cats come in that were from a hoarding situation. So these were pretty under socialized cats. They were very nervous and scared. So we were sitting in the office trying to think of names that may help them be a little more adoptable, because there obviously are people who are willing to take on harder cat cases, especially, but we wanted something fun to kind of get them out there a little more. And we decided on Love Island because there was a large group of them and we were obsessed with Love Island. It's funny and we really were like, this is incredibly popular right now. And if we're able to market it and get it where people can see, it will help these animals get out and get interest in them. And my coworker, my coordinator, Ivy, is very skilled with Canva. So she was able to she took new pictures of all the cats and was able to make it look like they're in their confessionals during the show. And our marketing team posted it and went with our idea of like, of new bombshells had entered the villa at Pasadena Humane, and it really just took off. And we did get a lot of people coming in. We had one of like the main stars from the last season, Leah Khatib, I believe, come in and promote our shelter. And it was all because we had this idea of wanting to jump on the train of Love Island because it was popular and we wanted something to help our cats get out. And it really did work. I think for the most part, it really worked. So I'm excited to see what else we can do.
Yeah, it definitely was super creative.
Yeah.
And I remember I had walked into the adoptions office and the team just had this look in their eyes of excitement. And they approached me to say, you know, we really want to Photoshop these pictures of the cats as if they're in the Love Island confessional. And I was like, go for it. Like, what's the least, you know, what's the worst thing that could happen? You know, if we didn't do anything, we didn't do anything. But if we did something, like, we could see where it goes. And so Ivy, our adoptions coordinator, made these beautiful Canva photos of these cats in their confessional from the show. And our social media team posted that on our Instagram. And it was one of the most liked photos or posts that we've had in a long time. It had almost 25,000 likes, which it was a lot for us. And yeah, it got us connected with Leah, who, you know, came and did some more content with us, and that just like continued to get this interest and all this these people coming in because they saw this post. And you know, we didn't know it was going to blow up in that way. I certainly didn't. I didn't know about the show. I didn't care about it. I was like, fine, go ahead and do this. I'm sure it's fun. But it was such a phenomenon with people within our area, and we were able to connect with this community of people that really love this show. So it really put us on the map, and then it really just makes you think of like, what other people are we missing out on by not, you know, posting about these things, or, you know, taking this narrative, or, you know, catching things that are in pop culture, because that is just an audience that's, you know, it's there and we're just missing it. So it really made me think. And I, like, as a supervisor, I'm totally in support of trying these new ideas and seeing where it goes. Because you could be missing out on, you know, so many different people within your community. So that was just like such a great experience to have that come from this idea from the adoptions team and have it blow up in this way. And it, like, still to this day, people bring it up. My friends even reach out to me and said that was the funniest thing you guys have ever done. So, you know, we're really missing, you know, we're trying to capture those audience members that might be interested in other things. So it's something to think about as you're moving through your adoptions processes or thinking about promotions, and marketing strategies. You know, these are people that maybe they're not ready to adopt, but then they're thinking about you because you did this thing.
Yeah.
So it's important to invest in that way. And I love that we did that.
I
Yeah.
will say too, I know I said it earlier, but a lot of people will come because of our social media stuff. That's
hmm
post specifically. I know like we had people sign up to volunteer with us
Mm,
because of how funny and like,
hmm
just they thought it was fun and they were like, oh, maybe that's an organization I want to work with.
hmm
So even if they don't take an animal from you, they're a resource in helping get other animals out eventually.
Yeah.
So definitely, it's also fun for staff members too. You know, we work in a really difficult field. We all know that, and it's emotionally taxing a lot of the times. So it's fun when it gets to be something lighthearted and kind of silly.
hmm Yeah,
And it
true.
it makes a difference on both sides.
Yeah. And do you feel like, Christine, that it was relatively easy effort, or do you think that it took a lot to put this on?
From my perspective, I feel like it was relatively easy,
hmm
especially Ivy's skills with her with her amazing skills on Canva.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is time consuming, but that girl is a whiz on Canva.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to familiarize yourself with it, it is an incredible tool. And she was able to get that to marketing, and it really was just conception that made it fun. So I
Yeah.
don't think it was too difficult. I really think if you see something trending that is, appropriate to capitalize on, the risk is low,
Yeah.
it doesn't take that long. And, if nothing comes of it, that's okay, but something might, and then you'll be
Yeah.
glad you did.
Yeah, and I appreciate that we did it for specifically a case that was really
Mhm.
difficult. There's all these cats that had come in together, and so it kind of gave them some extra support in that way to try and get some visibility.
Yeah.
Because what we had been experiencing with them, you just have this our big community room is what we used for these cats to all be housed in, and people kind of just walk by that or they don't really pay attention to it. But then when you make it this really big, exciting thing, it gets a lot of attention. So that was really helpful for us and those cats. Yeah. Vanessa, do you have any like promotions that you've done that you've been really excited about, or if there been any like cultural moments that you've tried to hop on on trends for your organization?
So that's typically in me naming cats.
Yes, well, that's the first
So it's
step. Yeah.
usually, what was I watching last night? Okay, this litter is this.
Yeah.
It's, it works really well for the staff to know that those ones are a unit. Those guys came in together. Frodo's best friend is Sam. Those two are
Yeah.
going to stay together.
Yeah. Oh, it's cute.
And then I have noticed, like, you can always tell when the stands come out. So
Yes,
they
you
will
can.
choose animals based on the names that they like. So we did like a
Mhm.
one piece litter last
Oh, cool. I love
last
that.
season.
Yep.
And of course, Luffy and Nami were two of the first ones out
Mhm.
there.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's really fun to kind of see how that can make people's decisions, or kind of
Yeah.
like be the last little bit that they need to kind of get over that hump.
Mm. Mhm.
Um, we don't do a lot of like big marketing pushes behind that. One interesting thing as far as our promotions is we used to do a pick your price promotion for cats every year since
Mm.
I started.
Wow.
We have actually shifted that into a dog promotion now, because we have noticed that our cats don't really need much besides giving them a name and a cute photo in order to get those out the door.
Yep.
Whereas our dogs, especially our larger dogs, they actually do need that. When we do typically like fee waived events, I find that very often that language can be a little confusing for some people. And so with the pick your price, it's really nice because it's right there in the title. It's you get to choose whatever you like for the animals. And what we actually find with that is we have some people who will just do like $5 for their animals, and there's some people who will do our regular adoption fee or go above and beyond that. So we actually
Wow.
average out for this promotion like usually like $60 to $70 per animal, which is great. Where
Mm.
if we did like a $5 event, then we wouldn't quite get as much to go back into our animals.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I feel like that's really creative because then you don't necessarily need a sponsor for that event.
Yeah.
Like it's all just kind of based on what people like the sliding scale of what people are willing to do.
Mhm.
That's wonderful. And then people I'm sure feel really good if they like put more into it and you can
Yeah.
say like, oh, thank you so much. That's amazing.
Mhm.
That's such an awesome creative way to do a promotion. I've never thought about that. That's really
Oh yeah, it's
exciting.
one of my favorite ones that we
Hmm.
do.
Yeah, and I hear you with the names too. Like I think we definitely get on some themes, but some team members don't know what things are from. So that's like some of the hard thing there is that we have to explain a little bit like, oh, this is from the show or this is from
Mhm.
this. Yeah.
Good
Hmm.
way to get some movie recs.
Yes, that's
Last year we had a litter of kittens that was named after water bottles. So like Koala, Stanley, Hydro Flask. People love that.
that's great. Yeah, that's also
Mm.
trendy with, water
Yeah.
bottles.
Mhm.
People are they're either
Obsessed
fans
with
of
them.
this or fans of that. Yep. Hmm. Well, okay, let's see. I think we can get on to move to some of our questions from the chat, if we will. Let's see. Let me scroll through. So, one of the first questions we have is how long is the term for the adoptions of animals by changing to 1 day adoptions? I'm not sure if I'm understanding that question correctly, or if it like is it what is the length of stay and how that changes by adopting on the same day? But Vanessa, do you have any information that you can share about the same-day adoptions and how that helps with our length of
Yeah.
stay?
So typically in our shelter, the first things dog-wise that are adopted out are our smalls, of course, are like little Chihuahuas and Shih Tzus. When I started, like I said, you would have to have that animal still on our adoption floor, but not available for adoption, just on hold for like a week or 2 weeks, knowing that we already have a home lined up for that animal, but we had to verify everything. Now, a lot of people will reach out to us and they'll say, "Oh, it doesn't look like you ever have any small animals." And I'm like, I do, but they get adopted within like a couple of hours to a day of getting on the adoption floor. So you probably won't see a photo, but these are the days we normally put new animals on. Just come on down and see what we have. So those animals get snatched up so quickly. Very often it's like, oh, I didn't even know you were available. Okay, bye-bye. That's excellent for those animals. So if we're opening up that cage, then that means that we can put more resources into like our larger dogs, our longer stays, because we don't have to just hold on to this Chihuahua for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for us, as far as like same-day adoptions go, um, it has drastically affected our length of stay by having animals ready to go that day. And then adopters generally are very happy to be able to take that animal home.
Yeah.
Because something that would happen in the past is that, if you say, oh, like the animal will be ready in XYZ days, and then you kind of lose that person, or you try and call them back, they don't call you back.
Right.
And so then that animal has been unavailable, and then now you have to like make it available again and go through the whole rigmarole again. And so we found that, same day adoptions is generally a great approach from our side, and like the adopters really appreciate it. And then as far as like addressing kind of return rates and things like that, because I think that's a big concern with animals going home the same day, is that for us, our return rate has actually decreased since being in an open adoptions philosophy, and our average return rate, at least the last time I checked, was about 8% for all of our animals, which is relatively low with all things considered. And sometimes people return just because like the first night was really rough and maybe they weren't a good matchup once they took that animal home. But when then we take that information and kind of, help them try and find a new pet, and then we learn more about that animal. So all in all, it I think helps on a lot of different fronts. We have enough time to do like one more question, so let's see what we can address. Let's see. Someone asked, I would love to know what you say to people who are concerned about abuse, neglect, etc. when we have barrier-free adoptions. How do we make sure people aren't adopting for the wrong reasons? Do you have any advice for that?
So one of the nice things about us doing conversational based adoptions is you start to build a connection with that adopter. You start to build that base of trust, so that they know that they can reach out to you if there's anything going on, if they're having any change in their life, that they're going to need some more support to keep their animal. So we actually find like we'll have someone who called and said, well, I forgot to do my heartworm prevention. What do I do? And we're like, okay, let's talk you through what you need to do to move forward. And previously, with the kind of way that we had to do our adoptions, it didn't foster a lot of trust with the people because they were feeling really judged by our application. Whereas now they feel comfortable enough to reach out to us if they're having a family crisis or anything like that, and we can help support them with keeping that animal. So I definitely strongly encourage it. Fostering those bonds with your community and letting them know that you're there to help them as well as their animal is so important.
I can kind of echo what Vanessa said. I think our consultations are a big part of being able to see intention. For the vast majority, there are good intentions and people want to adopt an animal and get this animal in their home and love on it. When there are situations that we think maybe maybe they're raising some red flags, we typically take the time to try to educate them. We'll have people who say they're planning on using maybe aversive methods of training, and they aren't doing that because they think it's something that is actually like harmful to the dog. They just don't know. So a lot of it is educating our public on how we can go about keeping this animal safe and happy, and how they can keep themselves safe and happy as well. And it's a lot of education. And honestly, I credit a lot of us being able to do that to how thorough we are able to be in our consults. We give them as much behavior information as we can. We give them as much medical information as we can. And you're able to really get a sense of the person that you're talking to. And from my perspective, we have an incredibly supportive like team of management that if we do bring up a concern, they are willing and like obviously there to have us help and kind of see how their perspective is on it. But a lot of it is just focusing on the education and making sure that it's a good fit.
Yeah. Thank you,
And
Christine.
one thing is it could just be a difference in the connotation. We would have people who would say, oh, well, I'm looking for a guard dog. And then as you talk to them, they really just want a dog to bark.
Yeah.
There. Like that is definitely not a reason for you not to have this dog. Take him with you. That's exactly what he'll do if someone rings your doorbell. So just talking to people and realizing what they're actually looking for, what they actually mean by some of the verbiage can be a big difference.
For sure.
Definitely.
Thank you all for sharing your expertise. Thank you, Vanessa, Izzy, and
Guys.
Christine. It was really great presentation, and it sparked a lot of dialogue in the chat.
Yeah.
And it sounds like people will be taking a lot of these ideas and applying them to their own organizations. Thank you all to the audience for joining us today. Our speakers are going to be available on Maddie's Pet Forum throughout the week to continue the discussion. So feel free to post more questions there, and any questions we didn't get to will be posted on the forum. And let's close this out with a reflection question. So if you could share what was your number one takeaway from today's conversation in the chat, that would be awesome.
Yes, thank you all so much. That was an incredible panel. I think, a takeaway for me is something that you addressed in the last question, which is what you're really doing with folks and your adopters is building community, and that is what these calls are all about. So thank you for highlighting that. And thank you so much to my co-host, Elsa, for joining me this month. It has been such an honor to collaborate with you. I'm so grateful you could share your brilliance and your energy with us. And everyone, please join me in thanking Elsa for being our host. And thank you to our lovely community for joining today. Please note there's no call next Monday in observance of Labor Day. We'll be back on September 8th for a conversation with the New York City Animal Care Center team about their intake prevention program. So definitely another wonderful panel coming up. If you're interested in hosting or if you have speakers or topics you'd like to hear about, please share that on Maddie's Pet Forum as well. And I'll see you on the forum to continue the conversation. Thank you all so much for your time today.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.